Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today, focusing in on really how to get beyond living the supply role and rewriting your life script. And I want to give a shout out to all the people who have corresponded with me. I apologize, have been very busy in consultation sessions here and haven't been able to upload as many videos as I would like. So thank you for all your inquiries. And if you do need consulting, you're experiencing a difficult relationship dynamic, experiencing a lot of emotional pain, confusion, etc., you can always email me at peaceandharmonynow@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to assist you. And one pressing thing that I really want to delve into and zoom in on today, and that is living the supply role with a narcissist or a psychopath, and basically getting out of that role, and that they have written for you as your life script. And what I mean by that is really that when you're living a supply role, you have unconsciously, subliminally agreed to the terms of that relationship. And generally, this begins with a boundary violation where, unbeknownst to you, during a love bombing, you have, or it could even be in a parental relationship, a spousal relationship, a relationship with a coworker, you have at some point allowed them to define you. And when I say define you, I mean really literally, have agreed to become a role for them, a source of admiration to them, mirroring back how wonderful, how great they are, lived life on their terms rather than your terms, living really in a sort of shame-based relationship dynamic with them. And by shame-based, I'm meaning the experience of feeling something is inherently wrong with me, I'm missing something, I don't have what it takes, I'm not where I should be in my life, and I need this person to define me. And when we talk about this dynamic and bringing this to light, it's very important because this becomes creating a false identity, because the identity that you're serving isn't originating from within you, and you feeling like you're good enough, you have what it takes, you're good enough, rich enough, smart enough. What was that Rolling Stones song? Am I rich enough, tough enough? It's just like for some reason part of you didn't feel like you were enough. And whatever that enough is really unique to each person. But I find that there's a very consistent relationship dynamic when someone lives as a source of supply to another, which means lived as a victim, targeted, feeling, the codependent tendencies that we discussed here. Codependent meaning, you are really not, you're not permitted to be yourself. You have to live in relationship to this other person. And really this then becomes a role that you live in their life versus living a role of your own life. And it's very important to realize this. And then when you're coming through and trying to make sense of this relationship and the dynamics and why it's so painful, is because part of you became severed off or really alienated when you had to, I would say, just to give a kind of colloquial term or, contemporary term, you had to suck it up. You had to, go out on a limb for this person. You had to mirror them in such a way that they were superior to you or important to you or more important in your life than they should have been. And so this role becomes almost like a role of your life that is written by them. So they begin to write the story of your life rather than you writing the story of your own life. They begin to dictate how you react. They begin to dictate how you feel. They begin to have control over you, your perspective, your mindset, your behavior, your emotional imbalances, and you become living as codependent, a traumatic bond to responding to their needs, their psychological need, their narcissistic needs, and a deprivation of your own. So I really want you to realize that you then, to take control back in your life, you now begin and necessitates you writing the story of your own life. Realizing all the various roles that they have created for you. Chances are when you get together with them, you're feeling like they're bringing out perhaps the worst part of you. You're feeling like they don't really get you. They're not really listening to you. They're not really getting where you're coming from. You feel that part of you is severed off and not allowed to express itself in the relationship. And that is because in the process of the love bombing, and creating, being essentially as this supply, objectified person to them, you have severed off part of yourself. And John Bradshaw describes this in his book, Healing the Shame That Binds You, as self-alienation. And really it becomes an isolation. And he says when someone suffers from alienation, it means that one experiences parts of oneself as alien, A-L-I-E-N. For example, if you were never allowed to express your anger in your family, your anger becomes an alienated part of yourself. And you experience toxic shame when you feel angry. This part of you must be disowned or severed. There's no way to get rid of your emotional power of anger. Anger is self-preserving and a self-protecting energy. Without this energy, you become a doormat and a people pleaser. As your feelings, needs, and drives are bound by this toxic shame, more and more of you is alienated. So in other words, I really find that the relationship of supply means that there's some part of you that has to be shut off or agreed to feel less than. Feeling that part of you is missing, part of you is flawed, part of you needs to be defined by this person. And really it's a disillusion. It is a erroneous perception, I would say, on the part of one then who is agreed to be the supply person, because part of you has sublimated your true identity, your true needs to be connected to this person. So I hope I'm explaining this clearly to you, and I hope you get it. And if you can get it, please just comment, I get it. But what I'm trying to state is that when you're living as this supply, you've allowed them to dictate your identity as subservient to them, as defined by them versus being defined by yourself. And so this person, for some reason, this is a very important comment here, and this is what I'm trying to get at, is the crux of it, is that you're deriving your self-esteem from the relationship with this other person. So you're permitting this other person to make you feel better about yourself than you genuinely feeling about yourself. And I think this is the whole core of the video, is that you have permitted, in this relationship dynamic with a narcissist, with a psychopath, you've permitted part of your self-esteem, your identity, you feeling good about yourself, is to be connected and defined by your relationship with this person. So you feel better about yourself when you're with this person. And that is erroneous. That's a misperception. That's an illusion. And that's a distorted sense of identity, because your identity cannot be defined by any other object, person outside of you. It has to be defined by what's within you. So in this shame, this internalized shame, which we just described here, this sort of alienation and cutting off and severing off of oneself, you're then giving power and control to this other person to define you. So when you do that, you're basically agreeing to being toxically shamed. You're agreeing to feeling less than. So you're basically subliminally, subconsciously agreeing this position. So this is what creates the feeling of helplessness. This is what creates that feeling of being out of control, of feeling addicted to this person. It creates a perpetual cycle of addiction, because your definition of yourself is so inextricably tied to them that you feel this sort of loss of reality when you're not with them. And I hope you're grasping this concept. I know it's somewhat advanced, but I want to really help you understand that it is very important that you really grasp and let go of them as defining your reality, and understanding that you define your reality, your identity, how you feel about yourself, how you value yourself, how you stand up against the world, and not just as a comparison to others in the world, and furthermore using this person or kind of deriving that sort of self-esteem from another person. So it's an erroneous, I would say, play of the mind that the narcissist and psychopath will capitalize on. That's part of what they realize, is that people derive, when they get into that supply relationship, they realize that others are deriving this sort of, gloating on that other person, idealizing this other person, giving into them. So realize that this is very toxic, and it can create a lot of, toxic pain in your life, a lot of trauma, a lot of feeling less than, and not really knowing why. And I think that hopefully this insight will help you put some of the pieces together. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.